Welcome everybody to episode 2 of the Remény/Hope journey. First week just went by quietly. I mostly was observing him. He was observing his environment. Took a long time to get him out of the van. He slept there the night before, and this is the morning of. And because he jumps and runs, I had secured him with a long line, tied him to the vehicle, plus I had the leash on him, just to make sure that he doesn't just bolt out and then I could probably never catch him. This is his first moments. Then I started to take a look at him a little bit closer. I had a chance once he allowed me to touch him. I mean, he always allowed me to touch him, but I was a little bit more cautious about the paws and the front feet, particularly because with dogs, usually if there's major problems with people, that will come out if you start touching the front paws. As you can see, this was not good. His toes started to turn now, sideways. He wasn't putting his weight on his fingers as the way it should, or toes rather, and I needed to deal with that ASAP. But this is what the shapes the claws were when he came to us. The most neglected part of dogs often are the paws and the claws. Many people rely on just going to the groomer, and very few groomers have enough time to actually do a thorough job on the nails. So I prefer to teach the owners to actually maintain the claws of the dogs and not leave it to the vet or the groomer, because they don't have the time to deal with it properly. I will show you in another video how it should be done correctly, and how you can start a young puppy and train them how to deal with the nail cutting without problems. After a brief 4 days, I had to leave Remény behind and go to the World Championship for dog puller, and I will tell you a lot more about dog puller down the road. This was the World Championship held in Prague, Czech Republic, and I was part of the Hungarian national team where I qualified this year. And I set out to this journey with one of my teammates, and it was a long road. Pouring rain for 48 hours, major wind, 47 km/h or so, non-stop rain and wind and cold, and then we had to compete. And I was very happy with what my Hungarian wirehair Vizsla had done in this competition, because the only thing that was against us was the elements. He most certainly did his very best, and I can explain a lot more about what this game is about, but it's basically an athletic sport called dog puller. The device itself, the puller, the purple rings, is something that I had developed how to apply it for many different ways of training, from the hobby dogs to the hunting dogs, the protection dogs, rehabilitation, and service dogs as well. That's a really big project that I've been working on with my training colleague and friend Tanya Karam from Pannonia Kennels in British Columbia, Summerland. I'm sure that you will hear about her a lot more later on. And this game is basically the running portion that you're seeing right now. The dog has to do a 2-directional retrieve. They have to capture the moving ring right after the last line, come in the middle with full speed and out in the middle, and then go to the next. And you have to alternate those rings, and it has to be non-stop for 90 seconds. Once they make one retrieve and drop, they get 1 point. If you step on the line, or if you throw too short, or the dog drops it and picks it back up, or rushes into it and knocks it over and it lays on the ground flat, then the point is 0. It is a lot harder than it looks, and it's one of the best things, if not the best, that I've ever seen in the world that you can motivate a dog with. I can't say I didn't wonder about Remény while I was in Prague, and although I could put it aside and do my job on the field under whatever condition there are, living in a Yukon definitely hardened me up, and it didn't really bother me that there was like a lot of water on the ground, and I was able to control the dog so it didn't flip outside of the fence like some of the other dogs have, because they were just not adjusting to the field. And it takes quite a bit of experience to know how to throw those purple rings to get the dog to do what you want them to do under any weather conditions. So we did it without injuries, and I was very happy with him, and he's always happy. I also took my baby puppy, Carpathia. She was 3.5 months old here, and I basically worked with her 2 weeks on the pullers, and I decided to enter her into the World Championship. But the real reason behind it was not so much that I expected any kind of a results with her, except the experience of being together, traveling together, and socializing her and getting her used to all kinds of things, because she will be trained as a search and rescue dog. But puller and dog puller, the sport itself, it's the Mother Earth of connection and motivation, control, and good physical condition. So it doesn't matter what anybody will ever do with their dogs, the puller will always come first before any other type of training. I understand that a lot of people don't understand that yet, but we'll get into that another time and talk about the championship and how it went. But we returned from Prague, and I came to see my dog, Remény. I'm happy in your company with no emotion, 'cause my love deserves to be free. Okay. I actually arrived late at night, and previously I asked my husband to keep him in the kennel, do not let him out, because I didn't know how he would react if I'm not there. I was only with him for 4 days. Then I left him with John, and I had no idea, how he would take to him when I'm not around. So I just asked him to visit him, feed him, talk to him, and just work around him. He was outside in an outdoor kennel for 4 days, and I did not let him out because I wanted to make sure that he's going to be there when I come home. And the next day, he did very well. He didn't recognize me at first, and then he realized it was me. Then he was extremely happy. I took him out of the kennel, put him back in the yard, and the next day he was all about it. I'm happy in your company with no emotion, 'cause my love deserves to be free. I never want to look at a house in the garden. I never want to lock you down. I wanted to test him a little bit with the baby chickens, and I could see that he was very intense. I haven't done too much work with him on that end. I just wanted to have these little animals around him just so that he get accustomed to it, because I did hear from the previous owner that he would catch and kill the chickens. But I'm gonna take my time with that particular part and see what we can do about that. But what I did have to get to was his paws. So I thought to myself, okay, might as well. So I grabbed the chair and I basically said, come here, give me your feet, and let's see what happens. And this dog was not touched, at least I would say, even if he was, it was very, very seldom. And now that he's 5 years old, you know, it's been a long time of starving for some kind of a human contact. And as a result, he just let me do it. I mean, there's no words, there's no absolute, it has nothing to do with me. I just picked up his feet and I just started to try and help him.
Don't worry, I get it. I meant what I said when I said it, lady. I never wanna look at a house in the garden. I never wanna lock you down. I know you're not mine, it's just my turn, but we can still have fun for now. No, I never wanna play happy families with you, but I like having you around. I'm fully aware this is a flash in the pan, but we can still have fun for now. Yeah, we can still have fun for now. Oh, we can still have fun for now.
And one by one, I got through his nails and I clipped them first. It was very overgrown, but the quick is also long, so I just had to make sure that I don't nick him, like I don't cause any kind of a pain or incident the first time I deal with this type of things with him. And he seemed to just knew, like, I mean, I'm a trainer, I've been doing this for a very, very long time, and I'm pretty rational, you know, pretty objective. But he just let me do it, and it was amazing. But he had some other things going on as well. After the nail thing, it had something to do with the human, so he wasn't reacting to it at all. But we did encounter some trouble with Sarpanyats, and she was trying to avoid him at all costs, but he had some other ideas, as you will see. It was quick, we had a little talk about it, nothing major. But after the little Sarpanyats test and his little, you know, conniption there, I moved to the next thing and we went to feeding and eating. And he was very hungry. As I said, he was starved, and he very quickly learned that raw food is pretty nice to have. And I took him dinner shopping just for getting him to leave the house and just be around. Lots of food. Opinions differ. I'm not even going to go there. I feed raw 40 years now, and I also feed raw other things, you know, like some fruit and some vegetables. And they do get dairy, they do get eggs. I feed them to the full extent of the law with the things that they need, and I don't feed them dog food. But each to their own. I'm not really there to discuss this. we normally go and get like large amount of raw, whatever, different things, goose, duck, chicken, etc. And we have freezers for the dogs because there's a few of them and they're pretty big. I mean, I have one small dog, but here I took Remény to dinner shopping, and I just actually got into the habit of lugging him everywhere because he was quite a sound sensitive. Like, he was afraid of sudden movements, vehicles, terrified of vehicles, and I thought that it would be best if I would just live life and lug him around, take him wherever I go, and then he'll just eventually get used to it, because that's what dogs do. After some food shopping, I moved on to the next stage, which is getting him to a groomer. But that's for another episode of Remény getting cleaned up. I sure hope you like this video, and I look forward to making you the next part of Remény/Hope journey of the Commodore, whose new life is now with us. Until then, click like, subscribe, and comment below. Thank you.